move into public comment. Is Christy here this evening? Hi, Christy. Welcome. You ready to? Okay. Christy Falk is here from the Wildlands Conservancy to talk about a grant proposal. Good evening. Yep, if you would, please.
So as you know, Wildlands wrote a grant on behalf of Jim Thorpe Borough to DEP last year. That was the grant award that was $200,000 that was just received to Jim Thorpe Borough. That involves the design and permitting phase for the stream restoration and dam removal work. So with that budget, we're really tight on the budget that it doesn't include if unforeseen issues that typically come up in the design phase to look into and address, because we really want to do a thorough job in that process. It also doesn't include meeting times and for engineers to participate in community outreach, which we really want to also do a thorough job on. So with that $200,000 budget is really bare bones, and what we're interested in doing is using that $200,000, matching it with another grant, with DCNR, which is a Department of Conservation and Natural Resources grant. That grant the grant round will be, the deadline is April 6th, I believe, and that would involve, similar to what we did with DEP, that Wildlands would write the application on behalf of Jim Thorpe, so Jim Thorpe would be the applicant, Wildlands would be the project manager. And we would apply for approximately $80,000, or still we would have to work that estimate out. And that would allow for those items that weren't included in the first budget. And just to step back with the DEP grant, the reason why those items weren't in the DEP application was that was really the maximum amount that we could ask for. That was actually the largest grant that was awarded by DEP for the region. So if there's any questions with that, trying to cover everything, but I welcome any questions.
Christy, can you explain to everybody what you guys are doing to our dams?
Yes.
Thank you.
So Jim Thorpe Borough, there's on their protected open, or not protected open space, on their property that used to be the Water Authority property. There's a series of dams that have been there for many years. They were part of the Water Authority property and the facility, but they're no longer in use for the water intake. So the problem now is that the vegetation has grown up through them. So one part of the issue is the liability, that there hasn't been maintenance on them for many, many years. And there are structures with the roots coming through that they would either be needed to maintain or remove. With DEP funding, it's really focused on the environmental piece of things. So right now, when you go out to the dams, what the ponds that are doing now, there's sediment that are filled up to the dams. So instead of having that really beautiful fishing area, they're just filled up with sediment. Now downstream from those dams, you're going to be able to catch a lot of nice trout and have it be the beautiful cold water stream. If you go up where the dams are, fish aren't able to come up over the dams. They're also not able to live in that habitat because of all the sediment. So the project will be doing the design and permitting to remove the dams, but removing the dams, but actually reworking the stones that are there now, creating the dams, so that there's fish. They're going to create fish habitat structures with the material that's there now for the dams. So, and then the idea is really to have it be a natural flowing stream. So instead of that wide bathtub filled up with sediment, it'll be what you would see upstream and downstream, just a narrower flowing stream. But to do that, we want to make sure that we're really looking at all parts, making sure that we're going to provide benefits and not have it be at the loss of anything to do with the natural or the history of the area too. So trying to sum it all up in just
it's a really new project, and even I didn't totally understand what it was about, so I'm still trying. So I see that there's potential dams, so we don't even know if there are dams up there. Is that what you're saying?
So there's 5 dams there now. There's 3 dams that are rather large, over 10 feet in height. Those were connected with the facility that was there for water intake. Then there's two other dams that are smaller. One's breached, but creating erosion. And then there's a smaller one there that's really just creating some sediment issues and preventing fish habitat, or fish passage. And that's right where the right-of-way is, at the very edge of the property.
I see that one.
So there's a total of 5, and we're packaging them all together, one for because it'll be less costly to look at it all as a whole. And then also just to be able to, if we have equipment in, we want to be able to do all the work instead of stages. So, but this will be a project that's going on for, the design phase will be over a couple years.
Right.
And we'll be involving the public in that process. And so this is very early on, just trying to get the funding in place. But you'll be hearing more about it. We'll be providing updates and bringing everyone in on the design phase.
It'd be nice to see that going back to the way it was. It really will. Oh, it's gonna be gorgeous. We've been out here for years. It'll be nice when it's done.
We're really looking forward to it.
Yes.
If you look where the springs originate before it becomes the dam, what a beautiful stream.
Right, it is. Yep. Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Excuse me. Do you have a question regarding this project?
I do.
Okay.
The Army Corps of Engineers is up there looking at a site for a pump house. For the future, they said it wouldn't be done for another decade. Is this pump house part of your project? Is it just one phase, or is this the first phase of 10 phases?
So this is related to the pump house with Army Corps. That isn't part of this project.
Okay,
They would review the permit to approve it.
okay.
So we would be communicating with them, but that's not part, I'm not,
So that wouldn't be, these aren't reservoir, these are being used just to get the sediment out. You aren't creating a reservoir there?
no,
Okay.
we're actually, we're going to be removing the structures that are there, not
Right.
creating a new reservoir.
So there's no holding facility for water?
No, and what's there now, although they're ponds,
Mhm.
they're not used for any kind of use, not
Right.
drinking, and then they're also filled with how they're filled with sediment. They're not providing any kind of stormwater or flood control at all.
And they will?
There'll be more, when we restore it to a natural stream,
Mhm.
because right now it's like a bathtub, almost like a holding pond. Once the stream becomes a natural shape, like just that natural flowing stream, when it's flooding, it has space to flood. Where
So-
now it doesn't.
So this is one phase project, and this is all, that's the only reason this is being done?
Yes, it's for wildlife habitat and for safety, and it'll be in really a 2-phase design and permitting. We're calling first phase, and then the second phase would be construction.
Okay.
So,
And your organization that's doing this is?
I'm with Wildlands Conservancy. We're a
Okay.
nonprofit land trust. So we've been in the area we've been around for about 50 years, focused on restoring waterways and protecting open space. So
And
this is all.
have you done this in other areas?
We've completed 20 dam removals in the past 6 years.
In Pennsylvania?
In Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania has been a really great partner of the agencies because they're looking at it as, for the amount of money that is involved, the large benefit that you get and a quick recovery with the project.
Is there one area that you can name where you did do this at?
So we have several projects that we completed last year that were on Lehigh County property. The Game Commission was another area that we did, and then along a large-scale project along the Bushkill Creek. That was just along a main stem, where in this case, I have the examples that I mentioned on Lehigh County property. That's similar to this one where they were holding ponds
Right.
of water. So we've done this approach many times, and it's also, Pennsylvania is the leader in stream restoration as dam removal, using the dam removal as a strategy. So,
And that's the definition of that as a holding pond?
we would just call it an impoundment, a filled impoundment. So just I'm saying a holding pond just because of the amount of sediments in, but that's not really like a standard word to use.
Okay.
These are great questions, thank you.
Yeah, I was just curious, so it wouldn't be a mini reservoir, it would be just a holding pond.
So it wouldn't be a mini reservoir, it'd be a restored stream. So any stream, or even the Lehigh River, it's a natural, it's a natural flowing, you have the stream banks along, where if you would go there now, instead of having it be just that nice curving stream, it's a pond because of the dams that are built.
Right.
Okay,
So-
Christie, thank you, we're gonna have to move on.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
and I know.
We've had numerous meetings on this, so.
All right.
Well, I just want to bring up, the reason I brought it up is I noticed in other states where similar projects like this turned into be a project to pump water to other areas. And I was just concerned about 10 years, 20 years from now, the lake, if that is the ultimate goal, is to pump water from that lake.
No, we're actually doing the opposite. So instead of having an area that is a pond of water, we're taking away the pond to create a natural stream.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
but we'll be going over the process through the next couple of years for the design work. So, well, thank you.
Thanks, Christie, look forward to working with you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to the comment portion